Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the Christensen Arms MESA FFT rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor. It's a lightweight hunting rifle, screw cut for moderator, slim, fully cerakoted barrel in action. It's a fully floating barrel in the stock. It has a twin lug 90-degree lift bolt, hollowed out handle here. You've got an enlarged conical ball tip here to get hold of, and it's got some fluting in it for added grip. And underneath there's a floor plate type magazine. You can see I put a bipod on, just a Harris and a 4-end sling stud, and there's another sling stud at the back here. Stick with me, we're going to do a full review on this, dismantle it, have a look inside, see what's in the stock, tell you what the magazine system's like, tell you how reliable it is feeding, tell you if it's accurate, tell you if the barrel stays consistent as it heats up, and tell you how the stock handles, whether it's noisy to shoot, whether it reverberates, and whether it's really fast to shoot, and most importantly, is it accurate, is it repetitive? This Christensen is 6.5 Creedmoor, but you can also have it in 6.5 PRC, 7mm08, 28 Nosler, 7mm Rem mag, 308, 300 Win mag and 300 PRC, as well as the big 450 Bushmaster. Barrel length 510mm or 20 inches, and it has a matched chamber. Overall length is 1000mm or 39.5 inches. Overall weight is 2.56 kilograms or 5.64 pounds. The muzzle thread is a 5/8 by 24 for a moderator or break. Length of pull's 343mm or 13.5 inches. Floor plate magazine system holds 4 rounds, and you can also put one extra in the chamber. The overall finish is a tungsten cerakote and the stock is composite. Well, you've seen this rifle shot. It's pretty accurate, you've seen all the groups, but I'll tell you some more of the findings of the rifle. Number one, it's super light, and I really like the looks of it. The two-tone grey finish, and it's got a slightly textured feeling, so it maintains grip and it's not slippery in wet conditions. It is quite three-dimensional, this. You can't appreciate it on camera, but there is a genuine feeling of every single one of these little grey patterns. This is only a 6.5 Creedmoor, which is not a huge amount of recoil. I've got a sound moderator on it, but the 1/2-inch 28 thread at the front, you can put a muzzle brake on as well if you want something, you know, a bit more recoil reduction, especially with the larger calibers. The barrel does fully float in all conditions, so you can shoot it off a bipod without any concern about it affecting the harmonics. It shoots well off sticks, no problems at all with that. I'm using a bipod on it because it's just my general test procedure as to what I use. This 16mm barrel is slim, and of course it is an overall lightweight rifle with the carbon fibre stock, and I have to say, other than with the bipod on it there, the handling is lightning fast. It really is a pleasure to carry. The sling studs at the front and rear are securely attached, so you can mount a sling no problem, and you're not going to worry about dropping that. Recoil pad at the back is a nice sort of medium firm texture, nothing too spongy, grips well into your shoulder. Although length of pull, it is quite short, and I could be tempted, possibly, certainly for me, I would take that recoil pad off, add a few spacers. But again, this is a lightweight hunting rifle. It's not a multi-adjustable system, and we have to be realistic over that, because if we want lightweight, we have to compromise some features. But a spacer wouldn't add too much in my mind. The grip is ambidextrous. There's a very, very slight palm swell on it, and you can of course use it either hand. It's an open grip, so there's no specific hand position on it really like a vertical grip would be, but on a sporting rifle it's fine because it makes the gun naturally very pointable, and reach to trigger is acceptable. I like the serrations on the trigger blade, it's grippy, you get a nice tactile feel for it, and the mag release, for the floor plate release, is in the front there, pops down and it holds 4 rounds plus one in the chamber if necessary. You can of course load them directly in the top if you want to top up individual rounds. In terms of the rifle, well, essentially it's a Remington 700 footprint layout. You can put any Remington 700 scope mounting bases on it. I'm just using a Picatinny rail, and I'm using tier 1 rings with a 30mm scope on top. The bolt's fluted, as you can see here, and there's also these lightning holes here, as well as the grip on the end, which helps you get a bit more purchase on it if that's something you need. You can also see the cocked action indicator in the back of the bolt, which is common to the Remington 700 overall design ethos. Where it's very different from a Remington 700 is the fact the manufacturing tolerances are far, far, far superior and tighter to it. And the left side of the action, you've got the fast set here. There's also the bolt release catch on the left. You're not having to mess with a tiny little one inside the trigger guard like Remington 700s used to be. Shooting the rifle is absolutely fine. The trigger is super crisp. Trigger techs are nice triggers and I'm very keen on them. There is a small amount of bedding in the stock, and when I've tested the stock by loosening the front and rear action screws, I could tell there is actually no implied stress within the stock. The spot bedding, as Christensen call it, is a small amount just around the recoil lug. So it's not a full bedding job, but it's certainly satisfactory for this hunting rifle. In terms of fundamental accuracy and precision, it will pass the sort of market standard MOA precision, 3 rounds in less than an inch at 100 yards, no problem. I shoot at 100 metres, which is 9% further. It will still pass without any shadow of a doubt, and it passed with all 5 types of ammunition I used to it. I used mainly Hornady, but I also used a little bit of Nosler as well, which I had handy at the time. Using this rifle for a hunting trip, or even in a foxing rifle, absolutely perfect. In terms of having a Picatinny rail on it, there's no problem swapping from a day scope like this to a night vision or thermal scope for foxing outings. A single stage trigger tech unit breaks at 1360 grams or 48 ounces, but it is adjustable from 3.5 pounds to 5 pounds. The safety catch is 2 position and doesn't lock the bolt. So, generally speaking, I like the Christensen, give it a thumbs up. I am very happy with it. I've always been a Remington 700 fan. I did think that Remington themselves pretty much just completely lost the ball because they spent 60 years making the same rifle without updating it with any of the latest modern manufacturing capability. Companies like Christensen have, I'm not going to disagree, they've used the overall Remington 700 footprint, stock, layout and everything. The big difference on the action is, of course, they've got the side catch for releasing the bolt, and they've got an extractor claw in the bolt face as well as the plunger ejector. Now, Remington used to use a little circlip on the bolt face, which wasn't really very durable, and that was one of the big failings. But the biggest thing with them, Remington never moved on. The Christensen is the latest, I won't call it state of the art because it's not a fundamentally different design, but it is made with the finest modern materials, the finest modern computerized machinery, and also, little design styling quirks like the fluting on the bolt, which to most people is a visual highlight. It does have some functional benefits in terms of clearing debris, but it's not of any particular benefit, but it does look nice. And the same thing with the bolt handle. In cold weather with gloves on, that's going to be really grippy, and if you're going for the fast reload, you're not going to slip on it. And speaking of which, you can get a good smooth reload on this rifle. It chambers easily, the rounds don't get damaged on the way from the floor plate magazine up the feed ramp into the chamber, and there's no damage to the bullet in the plants. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching that video. Please like, subscribe and comment. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you can keep track of my regular weekly uploads. And remember folks, all these gun tests use ammunition, and ammunition is very kindly donated to me. So please don't forget to subscribe, because numbers of subscribers is what brings people to my channel to support it for your benefit. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.